Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling ecological validity. What is it exactly?
Right. And why is it such a big deal, especially in psychology research?
Yeah, and how does it impact what we actually learn about real world behavior?
We've got some sources lined up that explain it pretty well, I think.
Great. So our mission is to get a clear handle on it, what it is, why it matters.
Ah,
Let's get right to it.
okay, so ecological validity,
Mhm.
simply put, it's about how much the whole setup of a study.
Tasks the place.
Yeah, exactly. How much does all that resemble real life?
Okay.
It's related to external validity, which is about, generalizing findings overall.
Right.
But ecological validity specifically zooms in on, does this research feel like the real world? Does the experience mirror reality?
And that's crucial, I guess, because psychology aims to understand people as they actually are, not just how they behave in some weird lab setting.
Precisely. If the study tasks are totally artificial, completely removed from everyday life.
Then how much can the results really tell us about what happens outside that lab?
Good question. Think about a classic memory study, maybe memorizing random lists of words.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen those.
It's very controlled, right? But honestly, how often do you do that in your daily life?
Almost never.
Now, compare that to studying how people remember, say, their shopping list, or maybe directions someone just gave them.
Ah, okay. That feels much more real.
That second example has much higher ecological validity. The first one might reveal something about basic memory mechanics, sure.
But the second one gives you insight into everyday functional memory.
Exactly.
So does this mean that lab research, just because it's trying so hard to control everything, does it inherently limit ecological validity?
Often, yes. To really isolate variables, pinpoint cause and effect, researchers often create quite artificial environments.
Makes sense.
And that control is valuable for precision, definitely. But it can also mean people behave differently than they would naturally.
So there's a trade-off.
A fundamental one, yeah. Control versus real-world relevance. Precision versus applicability, maybe.
So how do researchers navigate that? Can they, improve the ecological validity?
They certainly try. One way is to design lab tasks that are more realistic, less abstract.
Okay.
Or they might use technology to simulate real-world environments more convincingly. Think VR, maybe.
Right.
Or, and this is a big one, conduct studies out in the real world. Field studies, observational research.
Ah, taking the research to where the behavior actually happens.
Exactly. Though that comes with its own set of challenges, like less control.
Right. Back to the trade-off. It seems unavoidable.
Pretty much.
Hmm.
But being aware of it is key, because
Mhm.
context, the where and how, really shapes our behavior.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
And ecological validity forces us to consider that context. If a study's context is very artificial,
Low ecological validity.
then we need to be cautious about just how broadly we apply those findings to everyday situations.
Mhm.
The results might be partly due to that artificial context.
Gotcha. That seems especially relevant for things like neuropsychological testing.
Oh, definitely. Think about it. Someone might perform really well on an abstract cognitive test in a quiet room.
But struggle with managing their finances or planning meals at home.
Precisely. If the test doesn't predict real-world functioning well, you could argue it lacks ecological validity for that purpose.
So the test result itself is accurate, but what it means for real life is limited.
Right. And this leads to criticism of some highly controlled experimental designs. The concern is that the findings might be, well, a bit artificial, reflecting how people react to the experiment itself rather than their typical behavior patterns.
Okay, so wrapping this up, the big takeaway is that ecological validity is really vital.
Absolutely. It's about ensuring that the insights we get from psychological research are actually meaningful and applicable in the real world.
It's about how well the research mirrors the messy, complex reality of everyday life.
Couldn't have said it better.
Really important stuff to keep in mind when you're reading about studies.
Definitely. And, maybe a final thought for you to consider. Take this idea of context beyond just research.
How so?
Think about the information you encounter every day. News articles, social media posts, conversations.
Okay.
How does the context, where you see it, who it's from, how it's presented, how does all that shape its meaning for you? How does it influence how you understand it and maybe even apply it in your own life?
Huh. That's a really interesting extension of the idea. Food for thought.
Just something to mull over.
Great point to end on. Thanks for diving in with us today.